Look, we turning conversation into application. This ain't for you if you can't handle deep communication. I see too many trying to teach when they need all the teaching. If you can't practice what you preach, then what's the point of speaking? Look, we thank the Lord for another season. Don't think they ready for you, Lee. I think them boys are sleeping. But we gon' hustle every hour like it's our last. Open up your mind, it's the converSAYtion podcast. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the converSAYtion podcast. I am your host, Leon Reed Jones, and this is the place where we turn conversation into application. Today on the podcast, we have a very, very special guest in the building. This is a friend of mine, somebody from afar that I admire because of her relationship with God, her relationship with her friends, and she's always on the move trying to get people to know more about God, but more importantly, she's always trying to live a life that is reflective of who God has been in her life. We have today Miss Nakeysha. How you doing today?
Hello.
So normally, you know, you might have seen her on Instagram. I tease about the Bonnet Chronicles where she's giving us gems and funny stories, but I'm excited for this episode because, you know, the topic at hand is going to be very, very dope to me, in my opinion. So something that I always do with my guests before we get started with the conversation at hand is I ask them if someone had to describe Nakeysha, those who really know Nakeysha, what would they say?
They would say, I'm down to earth. I'm really chill. I'm a little deep. Sometimes I can get a little too deep. But and funny, you know, I love a good kiki. I love a good joke, but I think that would be all. I think the 3 words that I would choose, I think they would say about me. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like I get that often with a lot of guests, the down to earth, and then, you know, you look on their profile, they ain't down to earth. Right now, I feel like, but no, I can agree with that for sure. Like, you know, you're not funnier than me, but
absolutely not.
So no, I'm playing, but definitely can agree with all of those things. Just how you treat your family, how you treat your friends, and just the individual that you are. So I can definitely agree with all of that because I've seen that in one light or another. So gonna get straight to it. So my first question for you, or the, you know, conversation I want to have with you is like, what experience did you have that brought you into a genuine personal relationship with God? What was that experience for you personally?
That experience was because when I was younger, I never really thought about God. I'm one of the smarter kids. So reading the Bible to me was not like, oh, I hate reading the Bible. It was like, these are stories that kind of come to life in my brain. And then it wasn't until like reading Bible prophecy, that's when like, because for a while I thought like, you know, God, okay, cool. You know, is he personal to me? No. Do I ever feel like he's really stepped into my life and say, Nakeysha, I am your God. I am your father.
Yeah.
No. So getting like reading into Bible prophecy and kind of like going into Daniel and Revelation and seeing like how these books kind of like parallel with history, right, and seeing it like, whoa, this is for real. And then it's like, God, I'm reading all of this, but now where is the relational part? Like, you know, I've seen kids, and this was like me in high school all the way up to now. I'm almost 24. So I want to say till about like 15 to 19-ish was like the years of struggling as to, God, who are you to me? You know, I see how you have a relationship with other people that I know, but now I'm asking you to step into my life. And so those were years of kind of like going back and forth with God. And I believe a lot of Satan's lies about God and who he was to me, like somebody who was harsh, somebody who was, you know, very like, you got to do things this way. Cause I put a lot of heavy load on myself and I attribute it to being God until it's like, no, that's not how he is. That's either how you are. Cause, you know, living in a Caribbean first generation family, you know, there's some very strict rules that I grew up with. And then also, just Satan just straight up telling me things about God that weren't true. So after years of struggling, going back and forth, there was coming to a point, I think I was 21, where just sitting with God, that's when I started therapy. And so healing and going through a lot of things, and then adding God into the equation of like, Lord, like, I've been hurt. There's been a lot of pain. So now I'm coming to you, as I've heard that you're a healer.
Yeah.
I've heard that you are gentle and you're compassionate, and you describe yourself as like a shepherd to sheep. Sheep are very fragile animals.
Yeah.
So I'm like, can I be fragile in your hands? Can you be gentle towards me when other people have been so harsh and so exacting towards me when I felt like I didn't deserve it?
Mm-hmm.
And so it literally just started with me sitting on my bedroom floor and just being like, God, I'm here. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm reading the Bible. You say, this is what you say. Now I'm going to hold you to your word and see if you're going to show up for me like how you have shown up for other people and how you show up in the Bible. And he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. I love to hear that. You said something in there where, you know, it describes a personal relationship when you made the, you know, comparison to us and sheep, right? Sheep being, you know, very delicate people. And then, you know, how sometimes you feel like, are you going to treat me? And it goes back to kind of how you were saying at some point in your life, you believed the lies that Satan was trying to convince you of regarding God. And I think a lot of us go through that, especially like young adults. I feel like because you already have this expectation of what the church, what God is, right? So when it doesn't look like what you thought it was, now you have this idea of who God is and who his people are. So now you feel like, oh, I can never be around these type of people because they may walk around like they're high and mighty, that I'm less than. So do you agree with the perception that like if you walk away from the church or you walk away from God, like you don't have a strong relationship? Do you believe that? Because you hear a lot of people say that. So like, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't believe in that at all, because I think there should be grace, especially for somebody like me. I've walked away from the Lord about 2 or 3 times now. And the grace that should be given to people that walk away is not there. Because it should be, I didn't leave the church. First of all, I don't go to church for people. I go to church to worship God.
Right.
And I love that we're all here, and I love you, and I love everybody that's there. That it's like, man, it's so cool that we all believe in God and we just here together. But walking away from God or walking away from the church, there's a pain. There's a pain that's there that either, God, you didn't come through for me when I thought that you would, and I didn't understand why, or, you know, the situation, or there is something that happened between the person and God, in my experience, something that happened between me and God that I felt like, I feel rejected by you. I feel like you didn't come through for me. I feel like, you know, whatever I'm feeling that makes me feel isolated, and I walk away. And then also the aspect of spiritual warfare, when there is a literal enemy trying to get you to separate you from God, separate you from God's love as much as he can. So when people, you know, down people, or your relationship with God isn't as strong, that is so whack. Yeah. Why do people do that?
Yeah,
Why are you like attacking somebody who is pain? And because people are people, and, you know, hurt people.
Yeah.
Sometimes their own issues, they'll try to like throw it at you, but it's like the atmosphere that people should give or accept people into when they walk away from the church is, I'm really sorry that happened to you. I'm really sorry that you went through something that you felt so pain from, that you thought to walk away from a very loving God, because our perception of the situation is wrong. It's not, God is not wrong. He didn't do anything. But sometimes, you know, hindsight 2020, you just got to wait a little bit and see the situation as it is. But people in the church, I really wish that people would change their mindset when it comes to people walking away, because you don't know the situation, what happened. And so what if their relationship isn't strong enough? We're human, and it's going to take a lifetime to build that strong relationship where, you know, when things come, it's not a pull for you to walk away. You get closer to God in the trial instead of walking away.
Yeah, I agree. I think like more and more I'm starting to like really cause I'm like a why person. Like I'm always trying to figure out like, why did this happen? Or like, why is this going on? And any way that I can help, I want to be of service to somebody. So like me and my dad was having this conversation one day, and I told him like, I don't really subscribe to like, cause it used to be a time where I would say, looking back on it, I partially did, like you would have this conversation where it's like, well, you left the church, and you probably heard this before, like you left the church, but you still with that knucklehead at home, and you like, but I started thinking like, why am I comparing myself to an abusive boyfriend? Why am I comparing myself to somebody who's a trash friend? Like God didn't call me to be that way. So why am I comparing myself, or why are we as believers, as Christians saying, well, you should come back to church because you keep dating this girl and she terrible. Like, well, God didn't call me to be like that quote unquote terrible girl. And you said something that's really key. Like we got to approach people with grace. Like, oh, not like, oh, you back? Like, or like,
and I've gotten that.
Yeah.
So crazy that I've gotten it. It's like, oh, we haven't seen you in a while. It's like, hey, you don't even know what's been going on in my life.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. Like, I think not everybody, but I think a good percentage of people, like they do that to kind of see, because I done had a few people, come to me and say, well, how's such and such doing? And I do like my dad. Give him a call. If you care about, when my dad do that a lot, he like, if you really want to know about them, why are you asking me? Like, yes, I have a relationship with them. But if you truly want to find out what's going on, and then that can let you know, like, if you really care about the person. Because if you that concerned about my life and my well-being, you'll call me.
Absolutely.
And last time I checked at our church, we got a directory where we could call everybody that attend our church. So it's like, if you really care about it. And then I just think like, for me, I'm just learning more and more, like what you said, like grace, like a lot of people, they want grace, but they don't want to extend grace. No. So it's like, I'm learning, whether it's people in our church, people in our denomination, people just in general, a lot of people ask for things that they're not ready to give. So like for me, I like the fact that you talked about like, hey, sometimes it's going to take some time where somebody may have hurt you once, twice, or maybe multiple times. The reality is that the person who's gotten hurt, I think the part where we all need to realize is that's never going to stop. It's sad, but it's true. You're going to always have uppity folk. You're going to always have people that think they holier than thou. You're going to have people that, talk about you when they don't do what you think you should be doing or whatever. That's gonna always be the case. Like you can't run from that. You can't say, oh, I'm gonna go here where they don't, like, yeah, they may not do it as much, but you're gonna always have somebody. Like me and my boy Henry, we talk about it all the time. Like it's always gonna be some form of person in some environment that you go to.
Absolutely.
So it's gonna always be the person that, man, I got you. He don't never got you.
Absolutely.
Like me, I know the trusted person. When somebody I tell my cousins this all the time. Beware of the people that be like, man, I'm gonna be there. I got you. I'm like, oh no, you definitely ain't gonna be there on time. Right. Cause you're too excited about being somewhere you're not gonna be. But like, it's always gonna be a type of person everywhere you go. It's never gonna stop being judgmental people.
Oh, absolutely. You just gotta learn to, I don't want to say have thick skin, but just know, there's spirits working through people. Just know that, not everybody has the Holy Spirit in them and they walking right how they should. Some people are literally an obstacle for you to see. Listen, how strong are you? Yeah. Because if you can get mad at this person, you got to get stronger. You got to pray more. You got to read your Bible more. You got to do something. Yeah. Because they're always going to be there.
Yeah. I just, that is something that I feel like, we would be in a better place as not only a church, but human beings if we learn how to really genuinely extend grace, not just extend grace to, because it's easy for, me to extend grace to you because we're friends. Mm-hmm. But what about somebody that not necessarily I can't stand, or maybe it is somebody I can't stand? Like, can you do that same thing? I think when you're able to do the things that you normally wouldn't do, I think that says a lot about somebody's character. So for
Absolutely.
me, I just always think about that because I wouldn't say I wrestle with it, but I've come more into better knowledge about how to handle stuff like that. Because like you said, we were talking off camera, like everybody we grew up with, and it's kind of like when you're in households, like you in a household, y'all in the same household, but y'all all go on different paths. So the same thing with the church. All of us had access to certain stuff, but like you said, we also don't know how people's parents were perceiving God at home or at church. You know, a lot of people, they ain't at church because they like, as soon as I get out I used to hear my friends say all the time, man, as soon as we get older, man, I'm out of here, because how they parents have them, or like, you know,
that part.
And my dad and my mom would tell me all the time, like, you have to develop a personal relationship with God yourself at some point in your life. But we're doing these things. So like the Bible says, you know, train up a child in the way that he or she should go. So, you know, when they get older, they don't depart from it. Now, obviously, we done departed a few times. We done did some things that, you know, we're not proud of, or things that we shouldn't have done. But for the most part, that foundation is still there because of how God was given to us. You know, everybody may not have that luxury. And I think the thing is like, well, they grew up in church, they should know better. Like, yeah. But the fact of the matter is, and me, I struggle with this a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not even necessarily in church, just in life. Like, common sense is not that common to a lot of people. So what you think is like, oh, I know that right away. I know, like, not to walk in the middle of the street, but there's some people that'll run out in the middle of the street.
For real.
Like, so it's like, you have to, again, that goes with the grace. And I just think we have to stop putting ourselves in a position to where it's like, well, oh, you a lead at church. And that kind of brings me to a question like, what's the difference in your eyes between somebody leaving the church and somebody leaving God? Like, is that the same, or is that different to you?
I feel like it just depends on the person and the foundation that was there, because leaving the church is just people. It's just a building. But my obligation to come to it is scriptural, because it says, forsake not the assembly of the brethren, or the church, my bad. So I'm here because God says for us to be here, for us to gather, for us to have community in the body of Christ. But me being here is for God. I'm here for God. But I think for people who leave the church, I think it's just kind of like a revolving door. It's kind of like just a building. I'm just here. But your commitment, because you'll have people that, you know, in leadership that just, you know, they crazy. They just, you just kind of wondering like, what's up with this person? Yeah. You'll have, you know, the AC will stop working. Yeah. Or, you know, they switch to online church and you're like,
I'm glad I wasn't there
wish
this past weekend for that. But, you know,
I could be there in person. It's where is your relationship at? Where's your foundation at? Because when it's with God, it makes it a little harder to leave the church because you'll come against obstacles. But if you don't have a relationship, then you just come into the building, you come in and see people. But the relationship with God, that's why the grace is to be extended, because nobody leaves God. Because if we all had the knowledge and understanding of God, of how he wants us to understand him, nobody would leave him. Yeah. But there is constantly a voice, constantly something trying to get us to pull away from that source of life, from that source of love, that it's like we're getting drawn and pulled away. But when we think of like, oh man, who knows what this person is going through that they're leaving, that's sad. It's not, oh, I'm gonna talk about you, or oh, where have you been? It's, oh my goodness, she left? No, we gotta go get her. Did anybody call her? Did anybody call him? It should be more of that than the judgment. But I think differentiating the two is just depending on somebody's circumstance and what they're actually going through. Yeah. And that's the part I think people don't really take the time to look at. It's just like, oh, well, they just want to be out in that world. Like, why would somebody like think about it? Like, no, it's crazy. And I've debunked that as well. Like, I don't think, now granted, there are some people, they gonna do whatever they want. We know that, you know, somebody told me last week, they like, you know, I love God. Do I want to give up? And I'm not trying to be funny, but like she said, you know, am I trying to give up smoking? No, not right now. But it is what it is. Like, it's all good. Like, people gonna do what they want to do. But I think the part where we have to be better is like, oh, well,
now that I found out you don't want to give up weed or smoking or drinking or whatever it is, lying, cussing, whatever, now I'm going to distance myself from you. No, that's not what I need to do. I need to move closer to you, because if I'm at not even necessarily a better point in my relationship, but as you said earlier, like, we are responsible for one another. Absolutely. Now, granted, everybody not your assignment, meaning like
that part.
Some people, especially at my church, they don't understand that. Bless their heart. But a lot of times people like, oh, we gonna go pass out tracts and we gonna give them, snacks, and they're like, man, I don't want that. I just ate. Now you coming back. Now you upset. But God didn't ask you to do that. You thinking because that's how you got saved. And now you thinking that's the blueprint for everything. So then when somebody throw the Oreos away, now you upset and don't want to go back out and help somebody again. Like, no, you're not everybody. Because if we're not careful, and this goes back to alignment. When you're in alignment with God,
absolutely,
you never, like, you're not going to have to be like, oh, well, is this the right woman for me? Is this the right man for me? Is this the right friend? Am I in the right place? Because you're going to be where you're supposed to be if you in alignment with God. Like, you're not going to be in a situation where you're like, dang, am I supposed to be here? Because you're doing exactly what God told you to do. So a lot of times people think I'm assigned to everybody. No, the main thing that we all should do regardless is show God's love, be nice to people, extend grace. But sometimes it's going to be some people that you can reach that I can never reach because of how God has you on your path, and vice versa. And I think we would treat people better if we understood that. So absolutely. Yeah, people, it's a daily, like my dad told me, because I asked him a question. I'm like, where do you feel like you got in? I was talking to him and he was saying there's never a peak point with your relationship with God. Like, you constantly are growing. It's a never ending process. And even you said it, like, we're doing this every single day. And I think people get comfortable, like, oh, I'm in leadership now. I got the house. I got the wife. Now I got to stop. But no, you got to die to self daily, each and every day. That's a continual process until he comes back. And I think those are the things that, I feel like we need to do a better job of, like, not being this person of, well, you ain't been here in a while. Like, no, it's good to see you. It's really good to see you. I want you to come to this event. Because
you could have died.
Yeah, like, you don't know what somebody's going through. And then this the part that people hate, like, well, man, I lost my job. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Well, no, if you would have just, treated them the right way the first time. It don't matter if somebody ain't been to church. And I joke about our church, like, the saints come out when we got free food and ice cream, but for me, I love it because you get to see people you haven't seen in a while. But that's an opportunity, if God wants you to do that, to say, hey, I miss you being at church. What can we do to get you back here? And even if they say, well, I'm good, you keep that, shows somebody like, dang, somebody actually cared about me.
Somebody thought about me.
Yeah. So I think we miss that a lot of times, and we just like, oh, well, they need to be here. Well, we all need to be here. We all need to be here. Like, we all need to be there. It's not like
the thing is, people take it personal.
Yeah.
Why are you taking it personal? It's God. Yeah. Meanwhile, he's running and chasing and doing everything and coordinating these people's lives to get them to come back to him. Because one thing that I'm learning right now in my relationship with God, love. We don't really know the heart and the depth of God's love for us. We don't. Because if we did, first of all, how we treat other people that have strayed away, it's like, man, I want you to come back to God's love. I want you to know that love, because when you're in a place where somebody loves you and you're in that atmosphere, there's nothing nobody could say to you that can get you to walk away. And when people walk away, for me, I didn't know how much he loved me and how much he cared about me, because people in my life had misrepresented him. And then also, keep it transparent, in my own household, I've seen people in my house, leaders in the church, and I'm like, I know a different person at home. And we know a lot of kids that we grew up with that have that same testimony, like granddad and grandma different at home than they are on the pulpit. So just having that compassion for people instead of like, why are you taking it personal? Because God don't take it personal, so you don't need to take it personal.
Yeah.
He is one thing that I was sitting and I was just praying and journaling, and I was just talking to God about the time that I had left him, which was just last year. And I was like, you know, I forgot what I was reading, and he just said, Nakeysha, I wept over you.
Yeah.
And the time where I had thought that God, like, this is how to describe that year, I felt like I was being dragged out in the street and beaten, profusely beaten, and God was just standing over there watching me. Can you imagine that? A God just standing over me, watching me getting beat to the pulp and my blood dragged across the street. That's the image that I had of God, that he was just standing over me, watching me.
Yeah.
And as I was crying about that, he said, no, Nakeysha, I wept over you the year that you went without me and you went through so much pain. I didn't want you to go through that.
Yeah.
And I felt so hurt by the fact that you thought that I would do that, just stand over you and watch you. But this is the type of imagery that people have of God when they go out in the world and they experience some terrible things, because being not just in the church, but having that close relationship with God and knowing him for yourself and knowing his love for yourself will keep you from wanting to even go out there and experience all that stuff anyways, because you have him. You have him. So anything that you could want outside of him, first of all, you got to maintain it outside of him. But is it really good for you? But when people like just keep their focus, and which is hard, keep their focus on him, the pull to go out in the world and to experience X, Y, Z, and ABC, it becomes a whole lot less, because it's like, I don't really want those things. I think I'm happy where I am. Yeah,
no, for sure. And I think that kind of leads me into my next. We kind of talking about it a little bit, but what do you think, if you had to describe the current state of the church, what would you describe it as?
Mercy. I think I would describe it as, I feel like people just kind of running in different directions. The focus isn't there. And one thing that I'm also learning right now, stillness. Be still. One time I was praying and I was just talking, you know, just going through like, Lord, please help me to do this, this, and that. And then I just felt like he was just kind of tugging me and just say, just be still in this moment. Be still. Like you talk so much, good talk, but just be still and I'll focus you. I'll put your mind in focus. I'll put your mind in peace where I need you to be. And I feel like that's the state of the church, that we just kind of, you know, we like Jesus is coming back soon, you know, all the end time prophecies, you know, if you got the coronavirus, you got the mark of the beast, all this stuff that's going on.
Gas high, you gotta be ready. We might have to start walking. Like, nah, you might have to start walking.
And I feel like when we're all, like you said, when we're out of alignment, we just kind of chasing things and we just kind of doing and doing and doing. But when we get to the point that we focus, I feel like a lot would be accomplished. And I feel like another state would be people's hearts are hurting. And people, the crazy thing is, sometimes you talking to somebody and just how they're talking about something, you can just tell like you going through a lot and you need somebody to talk to. Because I don't know why you thought like coming up to me and just like spilling everything to me. I'm like I don't really even know you like that. Do you trust me? Like, do you know me to be telling me all this? I don't hate it, but it's like, it just throws me off guard. But I feel like a lot of people's hearts are hurting, and there needs to be healing and restoration in the body of Christ. Yeah. That's, I feel like where a lot of people are. Yeah.
I was listening to Daryl Walls on the podcast, and he was talking about, you know, in terms of what you said about people hurting. It's like, you know, a lot of people, they just try to brush it off. Like, cause my friends had to tell me, like my friend, she told me this one day, she wasn't mad at me. She ain't go off on me. Thank God. But she just was like, you know, when people just like, oh, everything's going to be okay. That like in me, sometimes I be making a big deal out of people's responses. And then I go, you know, into silly mode. But she was saying like, you know, how a lot of times when people can come and you bring problems to them, it's like, you know, you're going to get through it. And people do it not necessarily to dismiss you. Like they don't do that intentionally, but they're like trying to cheer you up, trying to help you. But it's kind of like with the church as well. You know, you give people, read this when you get home. Like that's still my light bill going to be off when I get home.
Yeah.
So this not going to help me, you know, if, you know, y'all saying Jesus is the light of the world, but my light's off. Like some people need some practical steps about like,
absolutely,
you know, God gives us, you know, practical steps on how we should go about things. And I think a lot of times we miss that part in terms of like how people are hurting and what people are going through. Like I was like, somebody was laughing at me the other day when I said this, but I was so serious. Like, you know, our church, they love doing meetings every day, unplanned meetings, planned meetings. You know, meanwhile, we sitting in a business meeting or a board meeting for 3 hours. Like, oh, what can we do to keep the youth? Like we've been talking about that since me and you was 10, 12 years old. You 24, I'm 26. It's like, man, y'all could go outside and up and down these people's blocks and see what they need.
Exactly.
You can look in your own neighborhoods, your own family to see what people need. We don't need to meet for 3 hours on Zoom to discuss that.
Absolutely.
We don't need to have we're going to have a town hall meeting. We're going to have food. We're going to have pizza. I love free food, but we don't need to be meeting or have all these meetings to know what we see in right in front of us. We can look on social media and see what we need to do a better job of, you know? So I think we have to be more sensitive, and it goes back again to grace, like about what, you know, people are going through. People are going through some harsh things. And I think Kirk Franklin said it best when he was like, the best answer that you can give somebody when they come to you about their problems is sometimes I don't know. Because sometimes I do this, like, you know, I try to say the right thing or be there, and then it's like, bro, you don't like,
you just
I
don't
can
know.
never tell, like, I could tell somebody how I can walk with somebody that lost their mom because I lost mine. I can't go to a kid. Like, I can never speak on what it's like to not have a father because my dad has always been in my life. Like, I never looked up and my dad was gone. You know, he's a little bit crazy at times, but, you know, that's my guy. Like, I never have known what it's like so I could never entertain that conversation. But what I can do as a person that's a mentor, that's a teacher and all of that, I could take what my father and the men in my life have taught me and teach it to them. I could be sensitive to what they're going through and walk with them versus like just saying stuff that sound good. And it's like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, this is not helping me. And I think sometimes we got to take a step back and say, I really don't know the answers, but I'm here with you. I'm not going to leave you. So I agree with you in regards to what the state of the church is. I also think it's a state of like complacency as well. Like outside of the hurt, I also think it's like we were talking, there used to be times where we would stay at church from sun up to sundown, or we stayed at church for a long time. We would go to somebody's house, have dinner, go downtown afterwards, or play video game, like, and all of that is lost. And I think, you know, methods have to change. You hear people say this all the time, but Christ's message, you know, shouldn't change. But the methods, sometimes they should change. But I think it's some stuff that we grew up on that, you know, we're not 50, we're not 60 years old. We're not far removed from some of the kids that we see. And I think like if we did more of that, but the difference to me, I feel like our parents were like, hey, Nakeysha's parents are going to pick up Leon and Nakeysha and Brian going to Peterson. And then maybe my mom would have picked the kids up to go back home. Like we had that partnership and that, you know, village, because everybody say, you know, it take a village to raise a child, but how many people actually really believe that and walk in that? Because, you know, in life in general, you know, there are some things that Mr. Dent taught me that my dad, you know, may have not had the knowledge or been the best person to come to. There are some things that my mom taught me that my dad couldn't teach me, or there are some things that Miss Britton may have taught me that maybe somebody in my family didn't. But all of those people in my life that I'll name and so many more are the reason why I'm the man that I am today. So it's like when we realize that, you know, it's not just, oh, well, we just gonna throw Brian off on Pastor Bell and hope he do his job. And if Pastor Bell don't do what he's supposed to do, now it's, oh, he a terrible pastor, or Burns is terrible, or whatever church you go to is not the best. No, like, yeah, Pastor Bell is, or whoever, you know, I'm saying Pastor Bell because that's the pastor or church that we go to. But, you know, whoever it is, like, you can't just put somebody off, whether it's a kid, an adult, a young adult, off on the leaders, and then you don't do your part.
Right.
And it was kind of like how I was hinting. We had the service where, you know, Rashid, he did the, he kind of did it in a Bible study way. And then, you know, some folks got offended, like when he said, you know, where are the parents? Basically, where is the partnership? Like, I can do my part, but are you doing yours? And they was like, well, you know, my daughter can't always come to church. But from what I saw, she was always there. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, I just think people, they try to, the easier way is to say, well, it's Nakeysha's fault. Because then now you don't got to take responsibility for you doing Bible studies at home with your child, or you being responsible for it. Because if the only time that you getting into the Bible or having time with God is on Sabbath or whenever you convene with God, if that's just only one day, then it's like, it ain't no wonder that you're not getting far. Because it's got to be a day in and day out process. It's just like the gym. Like, again, funny story, you know, this lady I worked with at the time, you know, she's like, I really want to, you know, work out. And me, I'm the type of person, when I hear you say something, I'm going to see if you're really going to go through it. And I'll extend. I'm not a gatekeeper. I don't keep nothing from nobody. So I'm like, you know, I train, me and this guy, we train. He has a business. So whether it's me that help you or him, you know, we can set that up. Now, granted, it's all the way on deep east where we are right now. Mercy. And they stay, or I don't know if they still stay there, but, you know, they stay all the way in Farmington. So we know that's 40 plus right there. Oh, yeah. And with that's construction, that might be 50. Maybe a business day. Who knows? But like, they were like, yeah, I want to work out. So I'm like, okay, I got everything. I talked to the people at the gym and everything. And I'm like, hey, we can have you come in, or we can do a virtual appointment and we can see what your goals are, what you want to do. Boom, laid it all out. It's like, no, I'm going to just go to Planet Fitness and I'm going to just do something. Do something. Like, it got to be more than something. Like, if you want to go, if you say, hey, man, I want to gain this weight or I want to lose it, like, it got to be a specific plan. But again, that didn't stop me from reaching out to them. That didn't stop me from, you know, being nice to them. It's just like, you got to put in the work. Like, you can't just come to church one day and then be like, pass it off to all the leaders. Well, the leaders got to make sure Brian is reading. No, you got to make sure you're reading too. Because whether that's your child or not, we all play a part in this puzzle called change, in this puzzle called growth. The way that you are is not just because solely of your parents or because you and God's relationship. He put people in your life to help you. Absolutely. Vice versa. So it's like, I think that's another, we got to get away from being complacent and actually coming together as a true family. Like, you know a true family when you see one. Oh, absolutely. Because they're not going to let you go by the wayside. They're going to check on you. They're going to be there for you. They're going to hold you accountable, but they're also going to extend grace and love to you. So, and I think one point, people have to hold themselves accountable, and that's hard for a lot of people to be like, I have failed my child. Yeah, I have failed in some ways, because one thing that being on those panels of what can we do to get the youth back to the church, I'm sitting there looking at the people. I'm like, what did you do for your child to lead the church? Can you be honest and tell me? Yeah. Can you be honest and say, listen, I put more of my time in the church than I did with my own child. Yeah. I didn't show up for my child. I was two-faced. Yeah. I'm changed now, but I was. Can you hold yourself accountable for some of the reasons why your child is out of the church or your child isn't wanting to participate or whatever it is? Can you hold yourself accountable? And not many people can, because first of all, it takes the Holy Spirit to prick your heart to say, you had a part to play in it. Mm-hmm. You for sure did. And I gave you tools. Did you come to me and access those tools? Because every day I pray for, Lord, please anoint my hands. Please give me the wisdom, because I have a daughter. My daughter is very small. She's a baby, but still as she grows,
I need God's help every day to train her up in the way that she should go, because I don't know everything. And I also pray for the people that's in her community, that for whatever I can't do, but you have given them the gift to pour into her. Yeah. Please allow that to happen. And I could see myself now, 20 years from now, when my daughter's a grown woman, like, to look back and say, did I do all that I could in Christ to help her, to raise her up in the way that she should go as a young woman? Did I do everything and really pray and seek God? Like, please, I don't know how to do this. I've never been a mom before. Yeah. Like, can you help me? And if my daughter, God forbid, was ever to walk away from Christ, could I hold myself accountable and say, Lord, I didn't do it. I failed in this way and in that way. Please bring my daughter back. What can I do now? And what I notice also what people do, they'll neglect their own families, but they'll, pour themselves so much in the church that they're trying to pour into another child or into another, ministry or what have you. But your calling first is to your family. Yeah. Go back to the people that God gave you first and foremost before you come around the church and start pouring yourself into other people. Because I'm going to ask you, and that's one question I always wanted to ask people, like, your kids my age or older left the church. Did you have any part to play in that? Yeah. And I think a lot of people, they can't, like you said, accountability hard. Like, when you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, dang, I'm here because of me. And I hard. You can't blame them. Realistically you can, but like at the end of the day, like I always say, you and God know. Yeah. Like I could do something right now and deceive a lot of people, but me and God know the exact reason why I did what I did. That part. And you could put the mask on and all of that. That's like I said, when that took place Saturday, when they did that a few months ago, and he got real with it, like he wasn't trying to call her out, but he like, where were you at? Like, you were here too. You've been here longer than me. So like, you were a leader. You did Vacation Bible School. You did this. You said these things, but only a select few are here, and they barely here. They barely want to do stuff anymore. So like, a lot of these people that's speaking like this, like, I'm curious because everybody leave for different reasons, whether it's, the most common one is judgmental people. And, something happened that wrong that never got right. So, but on the flip side, like you said, can you tell yourself like, dang, maybe I wasn't a good representation of Christ? And the sad part to me is like when a person is still like moving in that, like your kid's gone, they not in the church, or they don't have a relationship with God, and you thinking you doing, the right thing. But it's like those people, to me, like I feel sorry for them, because it's like you really out here moving, like you going on God's behalf, but you really just doing your work, not his. So I think like a lot of times people, they, looking in the mirror is tough. Like being accountable for your actions and being able to say like, dang, maybe my child ain't here, not because of the pastor, maybe because people, this is me, like all day long. Like people will get on Zoom calls, they'll be at town hall meetings and be the main, this is what I learned. It's kind of what I said earlier about the person like, bro, I got you. I don't trust a person like that because you really don't got me. It's the same way with people that's like, we need better. I'm just using our church for example. We need to fix up the basketball rims in the back. My son like playing basketball in the summer. Well, ma'am, if we don't got one, you can sign up for LA Fitness. You could go to Bar, you could go wherever. But it's like all these people that's making suggestions are the ones that's never in attendance, never gonna be the ones to help out. Or this is what I say: if I can't make something, I at least give you a resource. I at least say, hey, I got my friend that can do this, or check this out and do this. I won't be able to do it this time, but here's something that I can give you while I'm away. Most people, they don't want to do that. And it's always the people that's making suggestions or doing. And I tell them, I ain't mad. It have been a few people that I done work with. And they like, I feel like we should bring back spring and the praise. Spring get here, ain't no praising going on. Like, what we doing, y'all? They gotta be willing to put in the work.
And that's the whole thing. Like, when people realize this is not just, one person is all. No, it's like, oh, well, church was better when such and such was here. Well, y'all was still doing the same thing when they were there. But now, because of, you see the condition of Burns or some of these other churches, now it's easier to be exposed. The pandemic exposed a lot of people, like who was just coming to church and who were actually locked in and trying to grow their relationship with God. So now that has been exposed 5 years later. Now you see the numbers of the church and you like, oh, dang. I had somebody tell me like one day, I left Burns, because the pastor who was there before, he left. And I was heartbroken by it.
It's given, who gonna be there?
Yeah.
Like, this is church. This is not a party. This is not a function.
I'm not gonna lie to you. If that's how I operated, I'd never be at Burns. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's barely like, I'm gonna just keep it real. Like, me and Henry are the only ones there consistently that are around the same age group. Granted, we got a lot of youth there, but even with them, parents not willing to always bring them, parents not always willing to, but that's a whole nother story for another time. But my main point is like, regarding that, is like, so many people want to suggest things that they don't want to be a part of. Like, okay, if you're going to suggest this, we're going to need you on the committee. But nah, that ain't my gift. Okay, well, I'm not saying don't talk, but like, if you're going to suggest something, even if you don't help us with a resource or point.
Absolutely.
Everybody, whether it be Burns, City Temple, or whatever church you go to, everybody in that church, you can't make me believe that all of us don't have either a gift, a skill, or a resource that we can give to our community that's going to help somebody. Nobody's looking for you to be this doctor. When you look in the Bible, none of these people are super sophisticated. These are, as my dad would say, ragtag people in the Bible that, God used. So let's not get it twisted and think we got to be high and mighty to be used or help somebody. You just got to be willing.
You just have to be willing and let God do the rest.
Yeah.
And one thing I was talking to my dad about, I was like, what about, when we have these meetings and we, people come and they need help, like different various types of help. Like, what would you guys do if a person comes and you may not have the know-how to help them in their specific situation? And he was like, I'm just going to open up myself to the Holy Spirit and let him use me. Because, and one thing, shout out to Elder T, because in my year away from God, he was somebody that God brought unexpectedly in my life. And one of the things that he told me, he's like, every conversation that I had, which was always on point to what I needed, he said, I was just praying the entire time. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if the things that I was saying to you was any type of thing. I was just being led by God and knowing the fact that she's hurting. She wants somebody to just listen and maybe say a few words. So can these few words be, God, please, what she needs? Just simple. And I think that's when, the Bible says that in our weakness, his strength is like, it's magnified, because we realize I can't help everybody. I can't help these people. I'm not a therapist. So I'm like, I don't have the tools, but when I just ask you, please, Lord, these people are coming here because they have a need. I can't supply their needs because I'm not you, but I know that you can use me to facilitate some need so that the rest of the way they can be pointed to you and they can just get it straight from the source. Yeah,
I agree. And for me, since we were talking about the state of the church, what do you feel like, are some things for our age demographic that can bring some people back, whether it be some people that we went to school with, went to church with, both, or just young adults in general?
Oh, man. First of all, meeting people with their tangible need. Because, folks, when Jesus was on his 3.5 years of ministry, it was just not just to preach. It was not just to sit around and talk all day. He used his hands. He helped the tangible needs of the people. And then from there, they were able to say, you know what? I'm willing to sit down and I'm willing to stay. Because one time I was at a church and they were getting so upset that the people would only come to eat, for the meetings, and then they would leave afterwards.
Right.
But I'm just like, how about this? praise God you came just to eat. You got
Right.
a good meal today in a place that was safe. You got a healthy meal. And whenever you think about, oh yeah, I remember that place that I went to and they just let us eat. They didn't get mad or anything. And then it's like, they had that one pastor there. I think I heard what he was talking about. Let's just go back and check it out.
Yeah.
And now you're associated in somebody's mind as a safe place.
Yeah.
Not many people just have a safe place. So to facilitate those things where it's like, for real, what do you need? Because there were times where somebody had just said, you know what, hey, I miss you. Let me send you $50. Put some gas in your car. I would have said thank you.
Yeah.
Because I needed that $50 or I needed XYZ. And so getting to the point where we can cater to somebody's physical need, whether, because, you know, the economy is hard. So if you got the physical need or whatever it is, or just give me a call or let me take you out to dinner. Auntie V, shout out to Auntie V, took me out to Mexican food and just say, hey, I just want to talk to you. I miss you. Let's just sit down.
Yeah.
If we can do that and just say, this is just a safe place. We can get into conversation because we know conversation works with our age range more than sitting in a pew and having somebody talk over us.
Yeah.
When we can get to the point where we can share our own situations and, you know, just chop it up. If we can have that, I feel like that would be a lot better for our age range than to let's have a tent meeting.
Yeah. At my house.
Right.
But no, basically what Nakeysha is saying, if you need $50 for gas, she got you. So
listen,
take the nose down.
$50, I got you, because the Lord got me to got you. So we gonna get it.
I would agree with what you said, but I also think like something that I've been pushing, and I'm the type of person like I ain't gonna be like, man, they don't want to get right. Like I learned this from my dad. Like people gonna be people. Like my dad used to say that. And he used to say it in the most, like, I ain't gonna lie, my dad used to irritate me when he used to say this. Like somebody would disrespect me, and he'd be like, well, son, people gonna be people. Like, bro, I don't want to hear that at 13, bro. I just told you this dude disrespected me at school, you know, and you telling me people gonna be people. Like, that ain't helping me, dog. But he'll still say it. But as I got older, I understood, like, legit is that's what it literally is. Like, people are gonna be who they are. And you have to, and Henry said this to me, he was like, as crazy as this sounds, you got to be okay with that. Like, and the reality is, and okay from it, from a standpoint to where not you let people just do whatever you want them to do to you, but like you accept the fact, like, this may be what it is with them.
Right, for right now.
Yeah, and I can't stop doing what God wants me to do. Like, there's a young lady that went to school with, you know, both of us. She hit me up one day and was like, you know, talking about her kids. And I was like, you know, the type of person I am. Like I said, once you tell me what's going on or, you know, there's a need, I'm like, okay, if I can't do it, I know a good list of people that can get it done. So, you know, they were looking for a church home, looking for their kids to get baptized, still. And, you know, I reached out to them. I reached out to the church that was closer to where they stay. I reached out to my church. They like, okay, we got her, you know. And, you know, ain't nothing happened yet, but that's not going to stop me. Or maybe I look at it like, well, hey, maybe I'm not the person that needs to be doing this. Or maybe it's somebody else that'll do it and then she'll finally move on it. But
or maybe it's not time.
Yeah, maybe it's not. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like me, I'm learning to be like, okay with that. I don't want to be the bitter believer that's like, man, I ain't take this track. Like, bro, it's okay. Like, it's all right. Like, you keep going. You don't give up, you know, because one, God didn't give up on us and he's still not going to give up on us until we give up on ourselves, you know, like, and I think we need to be more of a family oriented, you know, community. And I always say being at Oakwood, shout out to Oakwood, man, and just my village in general. Like, I come from that, whether it's my mom's side, whether it's my dad's side, the friends that I have, the people I met at Oakwood, the people I've met at these different events that I've attended. Like, I can feel family oriented vibes from these people because, and I think we need more. We don't need to just say we're a family. We need to act like it in the tangible things. It may not always be, I'm giving you gas money. It may just be, I come sit at your house and I watch the game with you. Let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings or wherever you want to go eat, or, you know, talking on the phone, like all these different things. And I feel like we have gotten away from that. Or to be honest, I feel like some people have never even done that. You would be surprised what community does for an individual. You know,
Yeah.
you look at a person's life and you're like, man, if they had community, where would they be at?
If they had good community,
Right,
because
yeah.
I believe the church is a family. It's just very dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And people have dysfunctional families. They don't want to come from a dysfunctional family to another dysfunctional family where my family, I got to put up with them. I don't have to.
Yeah.
I could just leave. And so what people do is they leave because people in the church, when their heart's not right, come on, what do you think is going to happen? People not going to want to stay. So one time my dad was telling me, in one of my years that I left God and I left the church, he was like, so you just gonna quit? You just gonna give up on us? And I'm just like, he's like, we're a family. I'm like, it's dysfunctional. And I don't like dysfunction. I like my space to be of peace.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm coming in here and it's just like chaos,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to be here. Guess what? I could bounce. I could go and worship God. I could be at, what is it called? Bedside Baptist. Okay? I don't have to stay here. So if the people in the church, if we could get your character. It's character, folks. It's not about the message and how good you can preach and all of this. If your character is off, it stank and we can smell it.
Yeah, for sure.
Get it together, and the only person that can help you. But it comes with self-reflection. Not many people do that.
Yeah.
Self-accountability. People don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, maybe somebody just got to go off on you for you to be like, dang, that's really me?
Yeah.
Maybe that has to happen. I don't want it to happen so you don't get embarrassed. But maybe that does have to happen for you to actually sit with yourself and be like, I'm mean. I snap at people when I don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
I gossip, I lie, all these different things where you repulse people from God because you're supposed to represent him. And that's why a lot of people in the world, they say, you know, I meet a whole bunch of other people that just live in their regular lives without God or without the church that are so much kinder, that are so much more compassionate, so much more giving than people that's in the church and church folk. And it's been going on for years and years and years where the misrepresentation of who God really is. When you live as a believer, when you live as a disciple of God, you realize, dang, I really got to carry myself in a way that always represents God as how he really is, which is loving, kind, patient, gracious, merciful, forgiving, all these things. And it may be hard for you to do, but thank God for grace that he will help you to do these things. And that's what the daily walk is. I'm not perfect. But I am striving to be more like God who is perfect, and he can help me to, and I was just driving yesterday and car in front of me going so slow and I'm honking the horn. I said, ooh, that's not kind, is it? No, that's not. And if this person met me and they're like, wait a minute, you was in that Jeep Compass that was honking at me. Wasn't that you? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. That was me. And I really apologize. And then they're like, oh, okay. Because sometimes people waiting for the but if you just say, I'm really sorry, I apologize, that wasn't very kind of me. And then they're like, oh, okay. So who's this Jesus? Who is this God that, you know, that you claim to, who's this church that you part of? And then that's when, you know, you soften up and you just show people you're human, but I'm willing to be accountable. Then they're more willing to listen. Their hearts are more willing to open up. And then when they see the character of Christ reflected through you, a person, and they see how God has changed your life, they're more willing to listen and more willing to be a part of what you got going on. Yeah. But if the atmosphere, the people not right, you're not going to get nowhere.
Yeah. So as we wrap up, I want to ask you this last question before I get to the game that we're going to play. But having your relationship with God, what has that taught you in this season right now in your life? Having a relationship with God, what has that taught you?
It has taught me I am so powerful. I am, because I'm a single mom and not by choice. And having my daughter in a very painful season of my life, he has taught me whatever you need, I am. And I'm in school. Single mom, I'm in school. I'm doing a lot right now. I am your provider, your peace, your rest, which I'm still learning on. Lord, help me. I am whatever you need, because I'm the type of person like, God, you know, I need a mentor. Somebody please mentor me. Somebody just come into my life. But he says, just be still and I will do it. Whatever you need. Nakeysha, put your faith. One thing, put the sauce of faith. I was telling my friend this, like, put that sauce of faith on it and watch that God will not, that he won't show up for you and you put your faith on the line. The Bible said, David said, I won't be ashamed. You won't ever make me feel ashamed for trusting you and having faith in you. So as a mom, I'm like, I need you to help me. Because there was a point in time with my daughter, within, you know, not getting enough sleep and still being in school. I'm like, God, I feel like I'm failing at this. I'm struggling at this. And I can't do it anymore. I don't know. I just don't know. And my health was just going down because just too much was going on at the same time. And I said, I need you to fix this. I need you to rearrange things, because I said her sleep schedule is now on you. She goes to sleep when you decide for her to go to sleep, so I can get some time on my own. I get some time to do my work. So it's up to you. And just his grace. His grace, as in, I'll help you get through it. It doesn't have to be as hard anymore as it has been. And I'm going to take you at your word, God, and say that you are everything that I need. You say that you are, and I can find it in you. So here's the floor. Here's the mess of my situation. And you have to come in and be everything that I need. So my divorce, you are my new husband, man. All right. My daughter's father, you are her father. You will show up for her more than her earthly father could ever have shown up for her. And he has. My provider, always, randomly, he'll just say, here you go. And I'm like, Jesus. Or in this time of my life right now, I'm waiting currently on I am to provide a need for myself and for my daughter. So it's just, I'm trusting. And that has been, you know, my daughter is 11 months now, almost a year old. Throughout the entire process, even before her birth, all my entire life, he has been I am. But I have known that in this season of my life, that he says he is I am, and he will be I am.
For sure. I love that for sure. It's definitely been an insightful and dope conversation. So now I never tell my guests about this part of the show.
Didn't know.
This is a new segment. Actually, we're switching things up this season. Some idea that I came up with, you know, over the summertime. It's called Say It With Your Chest. So basically it's kind of like you'll say an opinion that you feel strongly about that maybe not a lot of people may agree with, or something that you feel like you've wanted to say for a long time. So this is the opportunity where you get to say it with your chest.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What do I have to say with my chest? Dang, I wish I had known about this. Okay. What's an opinion? Oh, easy. Stop treating single moms like we're the ones that was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get into this situation and I'm gonna just have this baby by myself. It's gonna be super hard. And I'm gonna just do it. We're the parent that stayed. Why are you treating us so badly? What? Come on, folks. I feel like, especially within the Black community, we have to stop where it's like, you need to uplift, help, be a community to the parent that stayed and is doing. God created it for two people to be in charge of, or to take care of one child, right, or however many children. It wasn't supposed to be just one. Yeah. So for you to dismiss, for you to talk down on the parent who stays and who's doing the load of two people for a child, and I have a busy body for a little girl. I'm like, why am I looked at as a and then for people who don't know my story, they just think oh, she just left the church and just went and got pregnant and had a baby. I just, you know, and I see the looks. People don't say nothing to me because they won't ever. But
whoa.
if they, you just feel the little, the
energy, yeah.
It's like, you don't even know my story, fam. But if you did, you know, maybe I would hope you wouldn't look at me like that, but it don't matter if you know my story or not.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm taking care of my child. I'm present.
Yeah.
So stop being so mean to us.
Yeah. Be more kind. I would say, I hate to say this. There's 3 ladies in here, so I hate to say this. I'm by myself in here. So if y'all don't see no more episodes, come on, y'all know. But no, you know, ladies, come on now. I seen this at my job, and this what really made me mad, because it was on the kids' graduation. Ladies, we gotta stop coming out of the house with the bonnets. We gotta stop. Monique tried to tell y'all earlier. Shout out to Monique, the celebrity Monique, because I know I got some friends named Monique, but she tried to tell y'all in a joking way, but she was serious. Look, man, when my hair ain't looking the best, when I don't got the nice lineup, y'all see it on right now. I got the fitted cap on. Stop. I don't even care if you throw the wig on. Even if it fall off, it's okay. Don't keep wearing the bonnets outside, y'all. We don't want to keep making a fool of ourselves out here, man. Even if you got the nice scarf. You see, Nakeysha got the nice scarf. I done seen some women with nice scarf. Listen, the bonnet, use it for when it's time to do the TikTok, get ready with me and all of that. Not outside. We can't do that. But that's a wrap for our episode today. Thank you all for tuning in to the converSAYtion podcast. We'll see y'all same time, same place.
All right.
Hey.
Thank you. Oh, right on time.